The opportunity to invest in companies like JMA by Buy in America provisions that we added to the legislation, and it helped us shape the Inflation Reduction Act. As the Speaker saw with his own eyes, Democrats' investments are already bearing fruit. In just 1 year alone, the Inflation Reduction Act has resulted in over 200 new clean energy jobs and created 170,000 new good-paying jobs. In just 1 year, the Inflation Reduction Act alone has resulted in over 200 new clean energy projects and created over 170,000 new good-paying jobs. And it's projected to create another 1.5 million jobs over the next decade. Pick any region of the country, and you'll have no trouble seeing Democrats' agenda in action. One of the amazing visits I went to was in Allegheny County in upstate New York. It's in Appalachia. By income levels, it's one of the poorest counties in our state. And there, the Inflation Reduction Act is blowing new life into Lundstrom. This was a company that used to make coal technology equipment and has transitioned to making parts for wind turbines and is hiring 150 new workers, all in a place where people thought they didn't have much of a history because they knew the coal industry was declining. It's happened all over America. In Georgia, Hyundai and LG announced they're increasing their multi-billion-dollar investment towards a major EV and battery manufacturing plant, one that will be the state's largest project ever, creating thousands of good-paying jobs in years to come. And in New Mexico, Arcosa broke ground on a new wind tower production facility expected to create 250 new jobs. These jobs will help fill the over $1 billion worth of wind tower orders they have received since President Biden signed the IRA law. These investments, and many others, are supporting the whole of America, red and blue states, rural and urban, everyone, everywhere. And you can be sure, Mr. President, the best is yet to come. Last month, we saw other examples of implementation, too. Over the past few weeks, President Biden made groundbreaking announcements on lowering the cost of prescription drugs, on prevailing wage, and more. Many of these are a direct result of the work that we have done in the Congress. So Democrats are very proud of the agenda now taking hold across America, and we intend to keep going. Now, the Senate gavels back into session with a lot to do, but there is one clear place to begin. Keep the government open.
Uh-oh, friends. There is a new issue facing the United States, and it involves Medicare. Top lawmakers in Congress are now interested in making concessions in order to pass several important government funding bills. So it appears that Medicare spending may be the first thing to be decreased over time. My dear friends, please do me a big favor and watch until the end of this video to hear about all of the details. Also, every Friday, I will be announcing winners for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you would like to enter the weekly giveaway, friends, please click and like several of my videos and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you comment on, dearest friends, the greater your chances of winning the giveaways. Decades ago, the surge in Medicare spending dominated the federal budget. But now Medicare spending per beneficiary has plateaued recently. This trend may appear somewhat concealed due to the simultaneous growth in the number of Medicare beneficiaries as baby boomers age, but has had profound implications for federal spending. According to David Cutler, a health policy and Medicare professor at Harvard, who contributed to the development of the Affordable Care Act under the Obama administration, says, without a doubt, this is one of the most important things that has happened to the federal budget in the last 20 years. But most of the savings cannot be attributed to any obvious policy shift. In a recent letter to the Senate Budget Committee, economists at the Congressional Budget Office described the huge reductions in its Medicare forecasts between 2010 and 2020. Most of those reductions came from a category the Budget Office calls technical adjustments, which it uses to describe changes to public health and the practice of medicine itself. Government officials say that older Americans appear to be having fewer heart attacks and strokes, the likely result of effective cholesterol and blood pressure medicines that became cheap and widely used in recent years. Parts of the health system appear to have become more efficient, as medical providers have been more cautious about adopting new therapies that do not have much evidence behind them, and more care has shifted outside hospitals into cheaper settings. If Medicare spending had grown the way it had for much of its history, federal spending would have been $3.9 trillion higher since 2011, and deficits would have been more than a quarter larger. The difference is that more could be saved by raising the eligibility age for Social Security or converting Medicaid into a block grant. Controversial proposals raised by legislators concerned about the federal budget. But Medicare spending is unlikely to disappear as a concern for the budget. An aging population means the number of Americans relying on the program is growing rapidly, and many analysts continue to worry that the trend is an aberration and that some new development will return Medicare spending to form. The Congressional Budget Office, which has lowered its forecast repeatedly during the period in the face of lower spending, continues to expect growth to tick up once again. Medicare is growing more slowly than ever, but still more quickly than the rest of the federal budget. If the slowdown per beneficiary ends, it will strain the Medicare trust fund and drive up the federal budget. That means the uncertainty about the future of Medicare has high stakes. So, dear friends, what are your thoughts on all of this? Please let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. The Biden administration has released its list of the first 10 prescriptions that Medicare will target for price cuts, reductions that the government plans to achieve by negotiating the prices with prescription makers. According to the government, individuals on Medicare who took the 10 drugs paid a total of $3.4 billion in out-of-pocket costs in 2022. The cost of Medicare was much higher, about $50 billion in total. The power to negotiate the prices comes from the Inflation Reduction Act that was passed last year. The actual negotiations will occur during the next 2 years, with prices announced by September 1st, 2024. But the lower prices for the prescription will not begin until 2026. President Biden cast a price negotiations as part of his push to lower costs for Americans. It is a core part of his re-election campaign message for the 2024 race. Biden told supporters at the White House that prescription companies fought the measure in Congress and are now fighting it in the courts. Average prices for prescriptions in the United States are much higher than other parts of the world, while other countries have determined methods for setting prices for prescriptions. The U.S. government is starting from scratch. Well, my magnificent and most marvelous friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for today. My dear friends, thank you so very much for being part of this community. To say thank you and to show my appreciation, I will be announcing several winners for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you would like to enter the weekly giveaway, friends, please click and like several of my videos, and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you watch and then comment on, friends, the greater your chances of winning the giveaways. Thank you and have a wonderful and very blessed week.